All right, Washington, D.C. lawmakers are going to be heading into their Christmas recess with no border fix in place for the Biden administration's disastrous mishandling of our southern border. And this comes as U.S. Border Patrol apprehended yet again over 10,000 migrants at our border just yesterday. This is happening day after day. So what impact is this going to have on border communities, let alone our country? Well, joining me now, literally from the border, just a couple of miles from the border, is Sheriff Mark Dannels. He's the sheriff of Cochise County in Arizona. Sheriff Dannels, welcome back to Washington Watch. Honored to have you.
Well, it's an honor to be on your show. Nice to see you.
Well, it's great to see you again, and I know you are literally in your car right there at the border doing your job. But tell us what you're experiencing there in Cochise County.
Well, over the last 2.5 years, 3 years, pretty much under this president, and again, I'm not trying to be personal with that, but it's a fact. Under this president, we've come from having a pretty secure border, I call manageable, to having an open border that's not manageable anymore. And to give you what I mean by that, over the last 2 years, just shy of 2 years, we've had in our local jail, we've had 2,803 people as of last Friday booked in our county jail for state border related crimes. Out of that came over 100 juveniles that we dealt with. It cost my taxpayers $8.6 million in the state of Arizona to address border crimes in one county here in Arizona.
Unbelievable. We're watching some footage right now. And again, all the footage we're seeing at the southern border is just absolute, like you said, absolute out of control, an open border, thousands and thousands of people. Do you get the sense that the federal government, the federal agencies just absolutely do not understand the situation on the ground there, or do they just not care?
Well, they understand exactly what's going on. I will counter that. I mean, give it a few months into it and we had this problem, yeah, I could say there might be a misunderstanding. But you can't misunderstand the reality of what's going on the border, the non-political statistics and records that are being set on this border, the outcry by national sheriffs throughout the country on this, by state governors, and on, that what's going on this border is real. Sadly, Washington, D.C., members of Congress, to include the President of the United States, the border czar, Vice President Harris, and Secretary Marcus, have chose to play political safety instead of public safety on the backs of every American, every community, every family, and every person in this country.
Well, that is extremely well said and powerfully said. Sheriff, one of the things that I've been reading up in and that is concerning to me, as if all of this is not horribly concerning, but there seems to be reports of children being smuggled across the border and even more and more children that we're seeing there. What are you experiencing in that regard?
So Cochise County is part of the Tucson Sector. Tucson Sector is known for gotaways. These are people that fight flight, that do anything they can. They can't walk up to a border like you see in Eagle Pass, Yuma, Arizona, where they have to be smuggled by the criminal cartels, which are camouflaged 100%. Mainly what we see, 90-some% what we see is single male adults. So that's where my crime stats come from. When you, over the last 2 years, we've had over 400 felony pursuits of smugglers trying to run from us. We have a new law in Arizona since went into effect September 28th of 2022 until current time. These are a law called, if you smuggle in the state of Arizona, you're charged for a class 2 felony for smuggling for profit. Just in my county alone, we booked 556 smuggler drivers that come to Cochise County to smuggle for profit, working with, I call it international crime, working with the ruthless cartels. And a lot of people ask me this too. I think it's very important I share this. The 2,803 people booked for border crimes in Cochise County for state violations. These are not, coming across and being legally in our country. These are for state violations. Out of 2,803, only 151 were foreign-born or illegally in our country that were booked in my jail. What I'm saying by that is the majority, probably high 90% of the people that are coming to commit international crime are United States citizens, which I think are committing treason to come down here and work with criminal cartels from another country.
Wow. I can't imagine the impact that this is having on local communities there in Cochise County. And last question for you, what kind of support do you need from the federal government? What would be a great help to resolve this disaster?
You know, we national sheriffs, I said as a chairman for National Sheriff's Border Security and working with Western states, major county sheriffs, and Southwest Florida, those four associations, we've worked hard to bring attention to this, trying to get the President of the United States to not turn his back on it. I call this intellectual avoidance and abandonment with intended consequences. We are dealing with the intended consequences right now. We need this president, starts with him, to prioritize America's safety. 9/11 should never be forgotten. And right now, we've set that aside as we've opened up our borders. We got to prioritize it. We need to remove the politics from it because it's public safety, national security, and humanitarian that we're trying to address here in our communities. And last but not least is we need the rule of law enforced, not set aside discretionary. And we need judicial oversight on this border because there is none right now.
Sheriff Mark Dannels, Sheriff of Cochise County in Arizona, hats off to you and your workforce. Incredible job under horrible conditions. Our prayers and gratitude are with you. Thank you for joining us on Washington Watch. Blessings to you and your family, and Merry Christmas to you.